How's it going, guys? Bring you guys another video here. For this one, we're going to be focusing on mobility. So we're basically going to do a mock move class. So for those of you that haven't done this class yet, this would be a great opportunity for you guys to run through this at your own time. Joined here with my girlfriend Casey and our dog Loki. So they're going to be guest starring in this video. Casey's going to help me out, find some positions, help me demonstrate this stuff. She's a lot better at this stuff than I am, so she'll make it look a lot easier. So the way this video is going to work, we're going to go into different positions. We're going to start out with some foam rolling, then we'll get into some static stretching, and then we'll finish off with some controlled active mobility work. So for the foam rolling and the stretching, you guys can just pause it, and the active mobility stuff, you guys can just pause it once you see what we've done, and then go through the prescribed repetitions. All right, guys, we're going to start out with some foam rolling. So for this one, we're just going to try to hit each major muscle group here. So we're going to hit the quads, we're going to hit the hamstrings, we're going to try to hit the upper back. So for this one, just try to go through nice and slow, 10 passes through each body part and on each side. So for the first one, what we're going to do, we're going to be down on our stomachs, we're going to foam roll the quads. So again, down on your elbows, and then you're just flying flat onto the foam roller. Just try to sink into it as much as you can. You're going to roll back and forth all the way up into the hip and then all the way down to the knee. Once you've done 10 passes there, you're just going to roll over to the side of the thigh, and then we're going to hit the IT band. So same thing, working all the way up into the hip, all the way down to the knee. This one is probably going to be a little bit tender. So start out with just a little bit of pressure, and then as you get more comfortable, you can slowly add a little bit more weight. So same thing, 10 passes, you'll do the other side, and then from there, all we're going to do is we're going to roll all the way back onto our butt, and we're going to hit the hamstrings next. So for this one, starting at the base of the glute and then working all the way down to the knee. You can do one leg at a time. It makes it a little bit easier to get in there. Work nice and slow. And then once you've done each side there, 10 reps, we're going to work all the way down to the lower part of the leg. We're going to hit the calf and the soleus. So we're going to start at the base of the knee, and then we're going to work our way down all the way down to the ankle. Same thing here, just moving nice and slow, trying to loosen that up as much as you can. You can do one leg at a time, and try to add a little bit of motion here. You can roll the ankle a little bit just to get a little bit more bang for your buck in this one. And then from there, we'll hit the upper body next. So we're going to work on the lats. So for this one, you're just going to lie draped over top of the foam roller. We're focusing on the muscle that runs from the base of the armpit all the way down to the mid-back here. So again, this one's going to be really tender for a lot of people. So just go with what you feel comfortable with. Nice slow motions, try to sink into the foam roller. Again, 10 reps, you'll do both sides. And then from there, all you'll do is you'll roll onto your back. We're going to have foam roller right across your mid-back. We're going to target your T-spine. And then from this one, you're just going to keep your butt down on the ground, your hands are going to cross over. You're going to keep your core engaged, chin's going to stay tucked. And then from there, Casey's just going to sink as far back over the foam roller as she can while keeping her rib cage pulled down. Then she's going to come back up. So we're just doing a small crunching motion here, trying to open up the T-spine a little bit. So you'll go two different positions. You'll start higher up in the mid-back and then work just a little bit lower. Go about 5 reps in each position. And then once you've done 5 reps at each spot, then all we're going to do is we're going to take our hands by our ears. We're going to let the elbows flare back. We're going to let the ribs flare, butt stays down. And then we're just going to sink as far back over the foam roller as we can. And we're just going to hang out there. So hang out there for about 30 seconds or so, and then you're just going to come back up. So if you don't have a foam roller, you can do all of these ones with a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball. Any of that stuff works. And again, if you don't have a foam roller, I would highly suggest going out and grabbing one. They're super cheap, and they are a great tool to have in the tool set. All right, so now we're going to move into the stretching part. We're going to move into some static stretches. This one, we're going to go through a couple different poses. We're going to try the same thing, hit every major muscle group here, just to try to add a little bit of length temporarily before we end with the active stretching. So for the first one, we're going to go into a pigeon pose. So Casey's just going to cross one leg in front. You're just going to sit back into that hip. You can either relax down to the ground, or you can keep your chest up like Casey is right now. whichever allows you to feel a little bit more in the glute. And then we're just gonna hang out here, try to hold this position for 2 minutes. Each position we get into is gonna be a 2-minute hold on each side. Next one we're gonna do is gonna be a V-sit. So for this one, you're just sitting down on your butt, keeping your legs straight. You're gonna take your feet nice and wide, and then we're just gonna reach as far forward as you comfortably can. This is gonna look a little bit different for everybody, so you may be able to actually reach your hands forward. If you need to, you can just support your hands behind your back just to leverage yourself as far forward as you can. So same thing, we're gonna hold this position for about 2 minutes. All right, for the next one, we're gonna go crossing your legs, crisscross applesauce. You're just gonna cross one leg in front of the other. From there, all you're gonna do is fall forward just as far as you comfortably can. You're gonna feel on the outsides of the hips. And then so for this one, we're gonna do one leg at a time. So you'll do one leg, you'll hold this position for about 2 minutes, and then we'll switch sides, do the same thing, hold for about 2.
What?
All right, so next one, what we're gonna do, you're just gonna be down on your stomach. We're gonna go into a twisted cross. So we're gonna hit the upper body here. We're gonna focus on the shoulder and the front of the pec. You're just gonna start on your stomach. Both hands are gonna be out wide. You're gonna bend one arm. You can use that for leverage. And then you're just gonna roll towards that outstretched arm. You can swing the leg around. Just far enough so you feel stretch in the front of the shoulder. And then we're just gonna hang out there. So same thing, you're gonna 2 minutes, and then switch to the other side. And then next one we're gonna do is gonna be a child's pose. So we're gonna add 2 different pieces to this. So for this one, you're gonna be down on all fours. And then from that position, all you're gonna do is sit your hips back towards your heels. Your head can rest all the way down to the ground, and you're just gonna reach your hands forward. So we're gonna hang out in this position for about a minute, and then on the top of that second minute, all you're gonna do is from that position, drop your elbows down to the ground, and then you're just gonna reach your hands back behind your head, keeping your elbows down. Yep. And then you're gonna finish out the rest of that minute. All right, so now we're gonna get into active range of motion stuff. For this first one, we're gonna focus on shoulder blades. So if you've done this class before in person, you've probably done this before. This one takes a little bit of time to get used to. So we're just gonna start out slow, and then we'll progress it from there. So for the first one, all Casey's gonna do is she's gonna keep her arms relaxed, keep them out by her sides, and then from there, we're just gonna make big circles with our shoulder blades. So nice and slow, she's just gonna reach her shoulders as far forward as she can. From there, she's gonna slowly come up towards your ears, nice and slow, and then she's gonna pull it back and then back down. So the best way to do this is make it a 5 count for each motion. So as you reach forward, try to reach forward for 5 seconds, then reach up for 5 seconds, back, and then down. So you're just making a big circle. Once you've done 3 full rotations one way, you're just gonna go back the other way 3 rotations. And then from there, all we're gonna do is make it a little bit harder. We're just gonna reach both hands out in front. Casey's gonna keep her arms nice and straight. She's gonna lock out the elbow. She's gonna make a fist. And then from there, she's just doing that same motion. Key thing here, as we pull our shoulders back and drop them down, we don't wanna bend at the elbow. So we wanna keep our arms nice and straight the entire time. So same thing, she's just gonna, for a 5 count, pull her shoulders back as far as she can. From there, she's gonna drive her shoulders down, her shoulder blades down away from her ears. Get a big squeeze behind the shoulders. Then she's gonna reach forward with her hands. Really get a big spread behind her shoulder blades. And then she's gonna slowly come up. So again, each motion is for a 5 count. This should be 100% intent with each one. And same thing, once you've done 3 rotations one way, you're just gonna go back the other way for 3 rotations. All right, for the next one, we're gonna hit the full shoulder joint here. So we're gonna do prone shoulder cars. For this one, Casey's gonna lie flat down on her stomach. Her hands are gonna be behind her back, like she's being handcuffed. From there, her elbows are just gonna stay relaxed on the ground for now. And then from that position, all she's gonna do, her forehead's gonna be resting on the ground. And then from there, all she's gonna do is she's gonna squeeze her shoulders back and together. So you're gonna get a big pinch behind your shoulders. Your elbows are gonna come closer together. From there, we're gonna squeeze. We're gonna hold that for a brief second. And then we're gonna extend at the elbow. So her arms are gonna be nice and straight. She's gonna reach back. Her hands can come apart. And then from there, she's just gonna slowly rotate her palms as she comes overhead with her arms. So it's a nice, slow rotation. She's gonna try to keep her hands nice and high. Perfect. And then she's gonna relax back down to the ground, and then we're gonna do that same thing back the other way. So she's gonna start with her arms overhead. Her arms are gonna be nice and straight. She's gonna keep her forehead down. She's gonna lift her hands as high as she can get them. From there, she's gonna slowly rotate her hands as she works her way back. Get her hands nice and high. Again, same thing, 100% intent. Try to own each position with this one. And then she's gonna come all the way back. Her elbows are gonna bend. Her hands are gonna come behind her back. And then she's just gonna relax back down to the ground. So, same thing with this one. We're actually gonna do 5 repetitions to take it nice and slow. You'll go forward and then back. That's 1 rep, and we'll do 5 total. All right, the next one we're gonna work on the hips. So for this position, all you're gonna do is your front shin's gonna be parallel to you, and then that heel is gonna be in contact with that opposite knee. And then all you're gonna do from that position, you're gonna keep your feet in the same place. You can use your hands for support. You're trying to keep your chest nice and high. And then we're just gonna swipe to the other side. So feet stay down, knees swipe to the other side. And then from that position, all you're gonna do is come up and forward with the hips, and then back down. And then you're gonna swipe back and do the same thing. So you're just gonna go back and forth. You're gonna do 8 repetitions on each side here. Try to move as nice controlled as you can, and you can even get a little bit harder, which is what Casey's doing. She's actually taking her hands off completely as she comes up. So as you get more comfortable with it, you can try to use your hands a little bit less. All right, for the next one, we're gonna hit the hips again. For this one, you can just get into a doorway. The only thing you're gonna need the doorway for is you're just gonna post that one hip against the doorway. You're gonna make sure you're not coming off of that. And then all you're gonna do with that opposite knee, you're gonna pull that knee into flexion. So we're pulling the knee nice and high, trying to get as high as you can without the hand. And then all we're gonna do from there is pull into internal and external rotation. So the first one we're gonna do is external rotation. So we're gonna pull the foot in, keep the knee nice and high, keep the hand off the body, and we're gonna hold that. So we're gonna hold that for a 10 count. You're gonna pull as hard as you can. You should be getting a little bit of cramping on the inside of the thigh there, and then you're gonna relax. You can drop that foot down again, and then we're gonna do that same thing. You're gonna pull the knee nice and high. For this one, you're really gonna have to focus on keeping that hip against whatever you're next to. That's just gonna keep you honest there. And then from there, all you're gonna do, pull the knee up, keep it nice and high, and then we're gonna keep the knee in the same place, and we're gonna drive the foot out as far as we can get it. So you should be getting a lot of cramping on the outside of the hip here, and we're gonna hold that. So same thing, you're gonna hold for a 10-second count, drive it as far as you can, and then bring it back down. So we're gonna do 3 repetitions on each side, just working back and forth from external to internal rotation. All right, guys, and that concludes the mobility routine. Thank you guys for joining us. Try to do this as often as you can. This is a great routine to just generally hit most body parts. Stay tuned for more content like this. We're going to try to get some more content out for you guys with everything that's going on. So stay tuned, and thanks again.